Welcome back to CreatorCast episode, I'm not sure which number, I think 12 or 13. Numbers are irrelevant. One of the high numbers. We've gone past 10. That's the main thing. Yes. I'm the host this evening. My name's Benon. My channel's Gives a Minute. Down in Melbourne, we have two lovely chaps. We have Scott Mewey.
Mewey. All right.
I called him Mewey. He'll take it. His channel's Mewer.
Oh, that
it's
was
got
an
an R, but
accident. That actually sounded like a cool nickname.
All right. Well,
you've got a new name. My name got mangled last episode, so Scott got mangled tonight.
That's fine. Hey, just a quick shout out to my mate Panda. He came up with a name for my fan base, but not that I really have one. But the Mew Crew. What do you think?
Mew Crew.
I like it.
That's pretty sweet.
I like it.
So big shout out to Panda Explores.
There you go. And also down there in Melbourne, Jay Boston from Jay Boston, unsurprisingly. He's a lovely chap. They got the rain down there at the moment in Melbourne. Up in sunny Queensland, Danny Black. From where is Danny Black? I just told you he's in sunny Queensland. How are you, Danny?
I'm good. By the way, I think I just realized your name is Benon. I just said Benon. Benon.
No, that's cool. That's cool. It's spelled Ben-on, but people often say Benon. My mother will say Ben, and when she says the other one, she'll say Benon, but I say Ben-on. And it's just how I've rolled with it for a number of years now. But you can call me Benon, and I'm still going to answer.
Ben-on.
I just don't like Ben.
It's like almost benign.
Cool.
It's episode 13, and we're still learning each other's names. So
no worries, Mewey.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take it. I've been called a lot worse. Trust me.
All right. Well, we won't go down that path. We delved into the negativity last episode. We're going to take it to another level this evening. The topic for discussion is, how do you know when your edit is complete? So we all go out and shoot and we gather the footage, and then we sit down at our computers or our laptops or wherever it is we're working, and we put everything on the timeline. How do you know when you've got to that point where, hey, this is a complete edit and it's ready to either compress or export? What's the process that goes through your minds to get there? Let's start off with Jay down there in Melbourne. Jay, you got any suggestions and tips for what you do?
Okay, so I'm a bit of a Final Cut Pro fella. So I guess what I do is I put all my footage onto the timeline all at once in the sequence in which I filmed it. And then I kind of make my way through it. So I start with an intro, and then where I think I can cut to my kind of brand introduction, which is my little logo, and it comes across the screen and says, take risks and read the awards, all that kind of stuff. Then I start putting all the content together. I then slice it in with music, all that kind of stuff. Until I get right to the end, I might find that some of the footage that I did, like cuts of the board or cuts of like a nice big pan shot from a drone or whatever, I'll chop that up then and put it maybe at the start, and then I'll layer in the music afterwards. So by the time I get to the end, I've put my end card in or my end credit. I know I'm good to go. So then most of the time I actually will not go back and watch it all the way through. If I feel like I've done it and I haven't really, made too many errors or whatever, then I'm ready to upload. I really don't go back and watch it. I think, you know what, I've got that far. I'm just going to push it up and see how it goes. That has hurt me in the past, where sometimes I'll have like a dead space of like where I'm meant to have music. There's just nothing there and it's completely blank.
Right.
I've cut, like the cut has been just me going, what was I talking about kind of thing, or, just getting ready for the next scene. So sometimes but I think that's quite cool. It's a little bit raw.
Did I hear that correctly? You take all of your footage and dump it on the timeline, like literally all the clips on the timeline, and then start chopping. Wow, okay.
Yeah. You don't do
Interesting.
that? I do that.
What I'll do.
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about this CreatorCast panel. We actually are learning as we do this. I did not know either of Jay or Danny did that. That's
what do you
incredible.
do, Benon? Sorry, I don't mean to change the topic.
We'll get to that.
All right.
I'm hosting your next.
Yeah, but I put it all in the timeline, and then I apply my own specific filter. Like I've created a filter in there for high contrast and low shadow and all that kind of stuff, just the way I like to have my videos. And then that's it. I then export it out, upload, it goes.
Okay, wow, that's really, really interesting. I have not thought of working that way, but that's great. It's working for you. It obviously, we'll throw to Danny now because
what I do find. Oh, sorry, before we get to Danny, I know I'm keen to hear too. it just means too that I know exactly how many minutes of footage I've got to play with to try and get that down to a decent sized video. So, for instance, tonight I was doing an edit on a new electric skateboard, and it had 7 minutes for my second video. So I knew I really couldn't edit too much out of it to make it worthwhile. I wanted to make it shot like quite fast paced and everything too.
So you're saying you're saying the second piece of footage was 7 minutes long, so you knew you had to cut that down to a certain amount to not make the whole video stupid. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So very interesting. Yeah. Do you ever not use, like you've done like 30 clips for the day and you put it on the timeline and you've gone, okay, I'm not going to use that one, and that one. I'm just going to use the one in front of it, the one behind it.
Press delete, and it just moves it forward.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Yeah, okay.
I'll like I've said it a couple episodes, 3 hours on a timeline and cut it down to about 5 minutes. But a lot of it's, I go through it because there's a lot of things I was recording just to thinking something was going to happen, but nothing happened. Or I thought, sometimes you don't know where the night's going to take you. So I record a part of it where it's like, dude, let's go out to this place. And if that turns out to be the best thing in the world, I got to get that person saying that at the beginning. So I'm recording everything. But if that ends up not being anything, or we didn't do it, I'll just, I'll cut it. Like when we did the abandoned building in Melbourne, like so much footage got cut because we didn't actually end up going into that building. And
yep.
So to me, I would like to say I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and that was the hardest part about making YouTube videos. It's because it's never done. It's never done. Like I could probably go through every video that I've ever made and even tweak it more and more and more. Like, but the thing is, you got to get it out and you got to start working on the next project. And so that's the YouTube game. You've got to keep uploading, and you can't have a second where, you can have a second, but you can't have like a long period of time where you're not making new footage or new videos for your channel.
Very true. Very true. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So two doing it very similar. Scott, how about you? What are you doing that's different?
No, mate, I definitely don't do it the way that those two do it. I will I'll put the SD card in the laptop, open up all the files, see how many clips I got, and literally drag it in one by one, work on that clip, crop it down and chop it up if I have to.
That's so much work.
Drag. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I have found that for me, I can do it so quick. Like I can edit like 40 minutes worth of footage down in like an hour and a half, 2 hours if I have to. I don't know why. It's just the way I've always done it, so I'm just used to doing it. And then I'll drag the next clip in. And then once I've sort of got what I feel is okay, I'll think about music. And then, where that music's going to go and what track I'm going to mute. And if a certain clip needs the brightness to be pumped up or anything like that. Then I'll just watch it through once, and I literally just export it to 1080 and I watch it once and then I click upload. It's pretty simple, to be honest.
Okay. Wow.
I try.
You're Premiere, right? You're not Final Cut.
Yeah, Premiere Pro.
Yeah. So when you say you drag the file in, you're literally dragging it from a folder somewhere on your machine into Premiere. You're not dragging them all in and then previewing them. You're dragging.
No. Yeah, I think my head would explode if I did it that way.
Sorry, Jay just jumped in and said off the SD card. That can't be right. Surely you're dumping it locally first, right?
No, I put it onto just on the desktop of my laptop, and then I sort of sort through the files. Yeah, cool. And then I'll drag it from that in, and I just do it one at a time. I just find it that I can concentrate to make sure that Jay said that sometimes he's left something in. I just find it the easiest way that I'll watch what I've edited, stop, next clip, and then make sure I don't have any awkward gaps or 10 seconds of not 10 seconds, 0.2 of a second of darkness. Sometimes if you just left that little gap in between clips, sure. I just find it makes more sense when I'm doing it. But yeah. I don't know. I'm interested to hear how you do it.
By the way, that's the great part about Final Cut Pro, the new version, is that they have this way so that when you cut stuff, you don't have that dark. Yeah, it keeps it together.
What do they call it? The elastic timeline, or the something like that. Yeah, the way everything bounces back when you. Yeah. It's pretty handy. It's a different way of working. Like I began a long time ago in Premiere, and when I swapped to Final Cut. Yeah, then they made that change. It was like, wow, this is elastic timeline. I think it's called. Yeah,
it doesn't do that in Premiere Pro. Like sometimes I'll have a clip that's say 5 minutes long, and then I'll have like 10. When I'm just talking, sort of like 6 clips in a row, and then I'm like, I'm going to delete that 7-minute clip I've got to delete it, then move everything, across. So I don't know how long I'm going to last on Premiere Pro. I'm probably going to give it till the end of the year before I jump over to you boys.
Magnetic.
You've got to get a Mac then as well, though, because magnetic. That's it. Sorry, magnetic. Yeah. Okay. So my method, it's probably more similar to what Scott's doing, but what I do is I take like all of my footage. So if I've shot and this is different to my daily vlog. I'm talking about my full edited regular vlogs. I'll take all that footage from whatever I've shot on into a folder, and the folder is numbered whatever the vlog number is. So in the case 193, and that folder I import into Final Cut. And so that puts it in the browser there in Final Cut, and I can see all the files, and you can swap in the event. You can swap them around to however you want to view them, as a timeline or as just the WAV file or just the name. And I know they're in order because the SD card's formatted each time, so that they're in numerical order. And I literally just take the first one. I know it's the hello, the internet. I know that's my first opening piece. That goes straight in there. I know that's going to sit there. Then I drag the next one, and I just drag them in. But what I'm doing is I'm watching them in the browser there, and I'm scrubbing through as I look at them. So I go, okay, I only need a portion of that. So I just grab the handles. You get a little yellow handle, and you drag it out, and then you just drag that bit into the timeline.
Or you can type I and O.
In and out, same thing. Yeah, you can do it with the mouse, or you can type in and out. But to me, it's like, because I know I've shot everything in sequence. Maybe sometimes you'll do a little bit out of sequence, where, like Danny said, you'll ask someone a question, and then you'll put the footage in front of it because the question was asked after or whatever. But I know from looking at that browser, that's what I need to do, and that's where it is. It helps when you're doing regular, like Jay said, when you're doing regular vlogs, because you do tend to know what you've shot, and it's not like you're coming back to it 3 weeks later and you're going, oh shit, I can't remember what I shot or where it is. It's so fresh in our minds because we're doing it that often. So, but you guys just pumping it out straight away and uploading it, I'm super, super German like that. I don't do that at all. I go straight back to the start when the edit's finished. And if you watch my videos, you'll know that they're all snapped off at the minute mark. So there's none of my vlogs go like 10 minutes and 27 seconds or 8 minutes and 16. They're all on a minute mark, and I do that specifically because I'm a nutter and I don't want an uneven amount of time.
Do you do that because it's called gives a minute? So you're always finishing on the minute?
Yeah.
No, he's got OCD, man.
Do you do that in bed too, Bennett?
Well, absolutely. Back when I started the channel, the idea, and if you've watched from the beginning, you'll know this, my idea of my channel was to literally do a minute vlog, and the next vlog would be 2 minutes, and the vlog after would be 3 minutes, and then 4. And I got all the way to 24 minutes, and a friend of mine said, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What are you going to do when you get to like 110 minutes? You're going to have a 110-minute vlog? And in my demented mind, I was like, yeah, no one else is doing that on YouTube, so I'll do it. I got to 25 minutes, and I went, this is a stupid idea. And I stopped it. And so now the vlogs just go for as long as they need.
And then you recorded yourself sleeping for 4 minutes every night.
I did that too. Yeah, I've done a few nutting things. I don't deny that. But what I've kept from that time, I kept the name Gives a Minute. It's now morphed into something slightly different, what it actually means, but that's where it came from. But I do snap it off at the minute mark. What that does for me, it's actually kind of handy because it means that I have to go back. So when I've got my timeline together, maybe it'll be like 13 minutes and 52 seconds. Well, I'll say, okay, I'm going to have to cut that back to 13. I'm not going to stretch it to 14. I'm going to go back down.
I would go up. I'll round it up.
I'll go back in the edit and I go, okay, that's irrelevant. That can come out. That can come out. Oh, now I'm at 13 minutes, 34 seconds. Okay, that can come out. That can come out. And if you watch closely, when I do my end piece, that's we're out of time. I purposely hold the time as long as I possibly can.
Oh, that's why you
so I can play with that at the end to make it. Yeah, that's how I do it.
It makes sense. We're learning secrets tonight.
Little tip there, but I don't recommend doing this on your channel. Don't start a channel based on this. It's just stupid idea.
But can I? I'm not the host. I had a question.
Please go ahead and sub.
This is part of the. This is part of the. I guess I don't know, because when you just said that, because you have a really good end slate. Like I love your end slate, where it's you.
Thank you.
Is that? Like, because I would love to do that, like where it's just, you know, the element that you have to it, I guarantee people see that and they're like, you know, I like this guy even more. I'm going to click this subscribe button.
Do you mean my we're out of time, or do you mean the
after that where you're like,
so, yeah.
we're out of time, but you know, you can click here, click there. And I really like that.
So what I do is
better?
every 20 vlogs I change that, just because I want a consistency, but I also want it not to be like 4 years from now. I don't want to watch a vlog that I shot in 2015 and it has the same ending as it does in 2019. That's not what I want. So every 20 vlogs I change this. If you like the channel, please subscribe, and my Lightroom presets and a random video. I think everyone should do an annotator.
I don't do one, but I've been thinking about it for like the last probably month. It's just been in my mind, like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I've definitely got to get on that.
Wait, you don't have an end slate at all? You don't do anything at the end?
No. I've been trying to like think of a way to sign off. You know what I mean? Like have a little thing where, not to rip you off, but Benon, but to just have like a, hey, I try and say like, subscribe, bloody whatever, share this with your friends, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think an end card is better. I don't know why. I just feel like it gets the attention a bit more.
One of the most important things that I learned from Daryl Eaves is to keep people on YouTube. So keep them on the platform. So if your end slate can say subscribe, check out a previous video, check out a random video, and that's 3 elements that are keeping them on the platform. And then I have the other one, go to Patreon or my Lightroom presets.
I thought that was taken off. Isn't that like gone? Or?
Well, YouTube only let you link to one external website. So at the moment, I've got to choose between Patreon or my Lightroom presets. It's kind of shitty, but hopefully they change that.
Everyone watching this in 2018, it's gone now.
Yeah, hopefully that should have been fixed by now. Just to go back a little bit further on, which no one really touched on, but in terms of audio, I'm very meticulous with what I do with my audio as well. Like no one mentioned what they do. So maybe just quickly, Jay, do you do any compression on your audio or any stereo left and right? Or nothing? Okay.
No, I just bring it in and I export it the same way.
Okay, Jay. Jay hasn't got a musical background, but Danny, he's a musician. I'm just wondering if Danny, you do anything fancy with your audio, some compression?
We've talked about music, but as far as voiceover, there is actually a really good plugin on Final Cut that's voiceover enhancement, and I've used that somewhat, but sometimes I've noticed that you can really tell the difference between like a good, like if I was doing a voiceover on this microphone right here and then use that compression compared to my like video walking around, you could tell this huge difference, and it sounds it just sounds wrong. And so I try to keep it as raw as possible. And I think that what I said before, sometimes I just got to get it out there. Like I want to play with it. I'd spend probably days doing it, but you just got to, at some point, you just got to go, how many people are actually going to pay attention to knowing it's going left and right? Probably not. Actually, to be honest, I have these headphones, and I'm gonna give a really good review out of them. These headphones right here, they have microphones built in to the outside of them. So when you're wearing them and you record, it will actually pick it up exactly how the sound is. And I did a video and I reviewed them, and I said, I reviewed all my gear, and I said, check out, you put the headphones on to hear that, and if you put them on, you'd hear that like there's stuff going on behind you. You turn your head because you heard stuff from what I recorded. Wow. And
sweet.
But nobody commented on that because they didn't, they don't care. They didn't get to that point. Like it's just, I want to be like, this is perfectionism, but people just want to watch the video. I don't think they really want to.
I'll touch on that in a second, but I just want to hear from Scott to see if, Scott, you do anything with your audio at all.
Not fancy, but I will boost and lower stuff depending on where we are. Yeah. Yes. I mean, there's times in one of the videos, my recent video, I was crawling through the mine. I'm 6'1", trying to crawl through this mine that's built for
it's a great toddler. Video, by the way. Great video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's terrific. Great place too.
Yeah. And there's a mad echo in there sort of thing as I was sort of noticing as I was walking. So I sort of just lowered it or muck around with it slightly. But other than that, it's pretty rare, to be honest.
Right. Okay. Well, what I do, which might be slightly different to other people, I have a preset for every different audio source. So I've got the stereo. I actually do have the Rode stereo video mic. And I've also got the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus, and I've also obviously got a GoPro with a mic on it, and I've got an iPhone with a microphone on it. So each one of these sources of audio and video, I've got a different compression setting and a different gain boost in Final Cut, and I've labeled them as what they are. So whenever that audio comes in, so if I've got a segment on my timeline that's, say, 10 clips of the GoPro, I'll just drag that preset onto the first one, then copy and paste it across all of them. And then if I'm going back to the GH5, which has got the Video Mic Pro Plus, I'll just drag that preset onto it. And the reason I do that is because I really, really, really can't stand when you're watching a YouTube video with headphones on and the YouTuber links to an outside source of audio and the level just goes straight up or down or just completely out of whack with what else they've got on there. So you're either having to turn your headphones up or you got to take them off. It's like just level it. Like you're on the timeline, you go up to on Final Cut, you go up to window, you say, what do I want to see? I want to see the audio levels. And on the right-hand side, you've got audio levels. Just make sure that they're all peaking around the top. It's not very hard. And if one clip isn't peaking near the top, just up the gain.
Now, Ben, you saying that on your most popular video, the biggest complaint on that is that you have some kind of high-end pitch noise.
This is really, really interesting, this one. My most watched video, I had I haven't got it in front of me, my old stereo video mic that I was talking about. When it went into the RX10 Mark II, there was some kind of tweak issue with the audio jack. Something was going weird, and it would wobble, and sometimes you'd lose one channel, and other times you'd lose both channels. Sometimes when it had both channels, what I wasn't hearing was that it was actually so loose that it was actually causing like a frequency, like a high-pitched frequency. I can't hear it on my iMac, or I can't hear it on my MacBook, and I can't hear it on my phone, my iPhone. Maybe one third of people can hear it, and they make a comment.
Is it like a frequency of like that app that you could play and only younger kids can hear it? Is that what it is?
It's like a mosquito repellent app or something from like the mid 2000s.
I literally watched the video just before we started recording this, and I couldn't hear it. Like I was just going through your videos and watching it with Brittany. I couldn't hear it either.
Yeah. So maybe people comment on that and they say, raping my ears, or why is this raping me? Why is this audio so bad? And I'm like, man, you can hear it. Many other people can't hear it. What I really want YouTube to do, and this is what I wanted to get from VidCon, which didn't happen. I wanted someone from YouTube to have this conversation and say, why can't you have a high pass and a low pass filter after the fact on YouTube?
Yes, you're not
how hard can that be?
Ears.
Yeah, because that video is on my channel, and I can't. If I remove it, then all that traction disappears. But if I could apply a filter over the top, it'd be perfect. It would solve everyone's problem, and I wouldn't have to keep answering these problems. Because what I do with those questions is I just say, what's your system? What desktop are you running? I know what they're running. They're not running an Apple, because no one on Apple can hear it. Anyone on a PC can hear it. I don't understand it, so maybe.
Well, sorry, not to dwell into this too much, but is it a stereo thing? Like, can you hear it on like stereo headphones? Is it like just one side, and they have just?
I can't hear it at all. I've put on these headphones. I've put on earbuds. I've put on just my phone, playing it straight into the space around me. I've played it from these speakers. I can't hear it anywhere. I don't even know what they're saying.
That's weird. That's weird.
But that's another topic which we've just kind of delved into. If anyone has other techniques that they use to edit their videos, maybe they're doing it in a faster method. Maybe they've got some secret up their sleeve that they can show with us and share with us. That'd be great. Otherwise, I think I've got editing to get to. I'm pretty sure Jay's got editing to get to. Danny, I'm pretty certain you got editing. Oh, Jay, you're clear tonight. Scott, how much editing have you got to do?
He's got 2. He's watching Mission Impossible 16.
Jay,
you've
been editing while we've been doing this, haven't you? He's been there editing.
He's been pretty quiet.
Actually, I'm sorry. I know we're wrapping it up, but can I give one little piece of advice on Final Cut? I know a lot of times I have my voiceover or something, and I have music playing underneath it, and then like I can hear the sound, like I can hear it all right. It's all right, but it's not the greatest. Really, if you hit the letter R, it turns it into a range tool. And you can actually highlight, like if your voiceover is right here and your music's like right here, you can range over the music that's right there, and you can actually lower that certain section, just like lower it just 5 or 6, just a little bit, and it'll actually fade into it. And just that little bit makes a huge difference, because where it sounds okay, it sounds way better. So it's just that little bit of extra difference. And I know we're not talking about audio necessarily, but I want people to know that, because it's kind of annoying when you can't hear what's going on.
The only negative I'll say about Final Cut in terms of audio is when you're trying to drag, not what you just suggested, but when you click on a particular piece in the timeline and you want to drag the audio down, it's very difficult to get that exactly to the decibel you want. Like, I know you can hit shift and you can go down, I think, by 5 or 10 at a time, but if you want to go down to, say, -3 dB and you got the mouse and you're doing it and then you go a bit too far, -12. Yeah. It's like, come on, I just want to go down to -12.
I know you say it. I know you say it. It's really annoying.
Very frustrating. So, yeah, that might be a benefit of using Premiere Pro, but for what we do, it's Final Cut the whole way. Yeah,
it's exactly the same. There's no in between.
Fair enough. Good to hear. Well, folks, we haven't been suggesting any moderators, any hosts like we used to for the next episode, so I'm not going to tonight either. Let's just say, see you guys later, and off with the headsets.
Maybe you'll be hosting next.
Yay.
Perhaps it could be you.
It could be.
Who knows?
Thanks, fellas.